It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. If I commit to make a shift, will you commit to give your gift? If we be the change that we want to see, the shift comes down to you and me. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Practical Spiritual Advice by Infinite You, which is me, which is you, which is we. Buckle in for another ride. We're going down the Infinite You journey. My name is Harold Honow, born name. Spiritual name is Harold Aho now. I am a practical spiritual advisor and community activist. I am an author now. I am the owner and founder of this journey. And welcome. I'm going to lead you on this episode. And I haven't quite gotten down the title yet. I do have a direction. And this is going to be a really cool one. It's a theory, but it's a realization that I had today while I was taking a shower. You know, those times when you're kind of open to receive information. And in the shower, you know, I find, you know, myself usually adrift in thoughts or a notion. And today I was listening to a YouTube video, and it was talking about alchemy and Hermes and the Philosopher's Stone, and, you know, just this process that we're in. And, you know, if you've listened to the podcast and you've heard some of the other episodes, I'm not going to assume that you heard them all, so I would point you to episode number 15, that is Gridding San Antonio, with the Centimani stones, aka the Philosopher's stones. And if you are familiar with the notion of what the Philosopher's stone is, you may have several perspectives or ideas that are talked about or contemplated throughout theologists and philosophers throughout time as to whether the Philosopher's Stone is a physical stone or it is just an example of an alchemical process. It isn't like, you know, it's like, oh, it's the hero's journey. That's what the Philosopher's Stone is. It's changing excuse me, this negative process or experience into one that serves not just yourself, but others. And I've come to realize that it's both. And the physical stones came to me before the philosophical, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, the quantum process of what the Philosopher's Stone is in this story, in this allegory, in this, you know, this data set that creates synapses of information that can create an alchemical process within each of us. So that would be part of the notion. But as you've listened to the podcast, if you have, you know that these stones came to me in 2018 along with the gridding the San Antonio mission, where on 11/11/2018 these stones were deposited on the north, south, east, and west directions of the seventh largest city in the nation, about 6 miles out from the center of the city. And it's just a wonderful story, and I've hoped that it has inspired others to do the same in their territory. And if you're not familiar with the larger scope of the story, please check out that episode and let me know what you think. Because, a lot of times what I find in my journey is going back in time to close loops and bring harmonic coherence that lead and lend to the story of ascension. And here we are yet again, listening to another story of an alchemical process, and for those that don't know, Hermes was a herald meaning a messenger of the gods, and I was born herald, right? And so part of Hermes is he is said to have interactions with the Philosopher's Stone, and of course, like I said, a lot of what is talked about with the Philosopher's Stone is the physical aspects of what the stone does, which is turn lead into gold. And for me personally, that's not what I was wanting to do with the city when we were guided to, position them on the 4 directions, honoring the 7 directions, right? North, south, east, west, above, below, center. So I wasn't planning on turning San Antonio into gold. I wasn't planning on looking for space and turning lead into gold. My approach has been more on the quantum, the metaphysical side of what the stone does, which is turn your dreams into reality. And that seems to be what it has been doing for me, which for me comes in the form of, the solar punk ideology of honoring our ancestors and the wisdom to work with Mother Nature, and looking forward with the technology and the resources that we have available now, and integrating them to help our future selves, our children, for many generations. And that's like a dream of mine to, as a creator God, right? One that has created creations, children, art pieces, all kinds of things. But, I'm talking about my children. They are creations, and I am a creator, and I am a creation. So I want to be a responsible creator and not just leave my children in a world that I do as I move forward in this journey, since I had my awakening at 33. I'm 47 now. It's within my scope and my capability, my capacity to create a tremendous shift on this planet before I am scheduled to leave my physical suit and once again reunite with my spiritual body in this state of awareness, because it's always connected. But I haven't even gotten to the juicy part yet, right? So now you understand. So, if you paid attention to the numbers, we're talking about Philosopher's Stones, that my notion, my guidance is to assist humanity with a dream turned into reality. And a lot of everybody else is talking about turning lead into gold. And I'm like, that's not what I cared for. But as I'm listening to this YouTube video, the lady is mentioning it again, and I am recalling that my partner Amber, my cosmic partner, my cosmic lover, her cousin's husband, her partner Joey, works for the city, said that they were digging under downtown and they're finding that there's a whole layer of lead underneath San Antonio. And so, I didn't really, at first, my initial thought, I didn't really think too much about it, other than not in the direction that I'm about to, tell you now. What my initial thought was, lead, Superman, he can't see through lead. So I'm like, oh, what are they hiding down there? And now, today, I was like, we positioned the stones surrounding the city, the four directions, circling downtown, with these philosopher stones that everybody's saying that they are here to. So you got to remember, I am now in the know, not the speculation, not the theory. I am in the know that these stones that I have are the philosopher stones, and they will and have turned dreams into reality. And so if they do that, then in some form or fashion, they must or may turn lead into gold. And now I'm remembering that there's a layer of lead under downtown San Antonio. And there's all these legends of lost cities of gold. Right now, as I process this, and we go through this, as I've said in the beginning, practical spiritual advice by Infinite You is it's like a storytelling. I mean, I'm not telling you a story other than the story that's unfolding itself right now, and stories that have happened in the past with little bits and pieces. But right now, we're in the midst of what I see as some kind of, not just like Indiana Jones with the lost city of gold, or, again, you gotta. So one of the things I was just thinking quickly, processing through my head, is that if you can turn lead into gold, then you may be able to turn gold into lead. And what if, if people were searching for this lost city of gold, and what if it was disguised as lead, and all you needed was the correct alchemical processing to turn it back into gold again, and all the other things that I've talked about with San Antonio be the only major city within the solar eclipse paths of totality. Tesla towers are in the city. The water flow of the Yanaguana, the San Antonio River, the connection to Nicholas Roerich, who is a holder of the Philosopher's Stone, and try and work to create world peace. I think his mission is still unfolding, and that's part of what I'm doing, is fulfilling some of those pieces to this play within the being that I am, and I'm trying to show everyone that they all have a piece to this. Your story is wrapped up in this, and so I don't ever want to steer to anyone that is listening too far away from adding your flavor to the mix. I'm only giving you my sauce, my secret sauce, and you are to add in your flavors per your story and intertwine them as it is a larger cosmic evolution, that story that we're telling. It's a love story of ourselves, of our cosmic partners, of our children, of our family, of our bloodline, of our cosmic lineage. It's guiding our children, our creations, from the center, with what we weren't shown maybe or experienced. It's understanding that, our whole way of moving through this holographic matrix is connected to the planets and the stars. So, if I gotta do my research on this a little bit, but I really want to find out how much lead is under downtown San Antonio. And, I've got a buddy of mine, Eddie O from TikTok, who now has a YouTube channel. And he talks a lot about old world, Tartaria, mud flood, fires, all kinds of stuff. And San Antonio, excuse me for my clearing of my throat. I just can't seem to get this phlegm out. But it looks like San Antonio hasn't quite made the rounds for him yet, and I'm uncovering a lot of things. And there's just so many things that were on that video that I was listening to today, talking about mercury, sulfur, salt, and I then was reminded of Hot Wells ruins, hot springs here that used to be more thriving and abundant here in San Antonio. You can still go there. It's we talk about fires for major cities like Chicago and St. Louis and other places that happened during the 1800s and stuff, and maybe early 1900s, I think. In San Antonio having the history of the Battle of the Alamo. And, in the 30s and 40s, when they built the San Antonio Riverwalk, there's stories and there's things that were done by our government, by the, through the WPA, the Works Project. I forget the name of it's the WPA. You can look it up. It was around in the 1930s, created the Great New Deal, and funded unemployed people going through the Great Depression in America. And Nicholas Roerich is attached to that whole time period and working with our president FDR during this time. And this is all factual. You can look up the interactions between Nicholas Roerich and FDR and Henry Wallace, the vice president at the time, and their connection to Nicholas Roerich finding drought-resistant crops for the Dust Bowl. And there's an undercover story that he was sent to find America's Philosopher's Stone. And, with the Mayans being able to connect with solar eclipses for thousands of years and predict them and all this stuff, I wonder, you have to wonder if they knew about the cosmic X. And there are cities that are named very specific things and places within alignment of these paths of totality. And so I say that to, kind of synergize multiple systems or, perspectives at looking at the larger picture of what's happening. So the larger picture is we're going through a transition within the planets, the alignments, all these things are happening already. The astrologists, astronomers, they can tell you that there's the recession and the equinox, all these different things that are happening in the stars and the planets and that haven't happened in a long time. And when you start to track those specific things, you'll see countries are born and, cataclysms happen and, fall of empires happen and all kinds of, very um, monumental things within our, human history, that you can start to pick up on a rhythm, a cosmic rhythm. And when you can pick up on that cosmic rhythm, then you start to find yourself in more of a world that's synchronistic. The symbols start to decode themselves and show themselves to you. And part of my job as the herald, which is a symbol decoder, is to show how I do these things and kind of close loops on some of my past experiences, and allow myself to, have my thoughts roam around a little bit so we can pick up things. Even before jumping in the shower today, I had a one-on-one for a new online course that I have. It's the Cosmic Blueprint, and we decode your spiritual awakening. And I use multiple systems like human design, the galactic calendar system, and the information that I know from the paths of totality for the solar eclipses, and then taking your story and converting experiences that you had in the past. We really want to look at some that are that are already, on another end of the process. We don't want to talk about what happened last week where you're still mad at whoever for saying such and such, because the emotions can come up and we might get distracted in some things. We want to pull up an experience from your past that you have processed more or less, that you maybe was a negative one, maybe it was an activation where you went to a sacred site and had a magical experience. It could be any major experience that you can pick out that the date, and we're going to convert the dates for your human design to see the transits for the planets, and then we're going to convert the date in your galactic calendar, or in the galactic calendar, to see what cosmic information we can tap into. And this will take, your design, your galactic signature, your personal experience, your perspective to pick up on the symbols that make sense for you, from you. And I'm just helping people read the map. So today was the first part of a 4-part workshop, and that was human design today. So again, I don't go into all the details of the gates, the channels, and like how it's gonna work, and all the minute, pieces of it. I give you the detail or the information on how to read the charts in the map and where they are and how to find them, and then how to convert the dates and do what I said, as far as your past experiences, and seeing some extra information there that you can decode. So it's a lot of fun. I think it's going to help many humans find their place within the cosmos, because, even if you just do that alone without knowing, or, intertwining your story with my CE5 or anything that I pulled out of the solar eclipse paths of totality, those systems came from that. So those can be, anyone can find them however they find these systems, and they will still guide them to this whole totality of information that's going to be coming out over the next couple years. So I want to bring it back here, because this episode, okay, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to tell is the story of how there may be like a layer of gold under this city. And as I paused to cough and get the phlegm out, I had another realization that I don't know if anybody else picked it up, but I did mention how San Antonio is the only major city that got hit with 2 solar eclipses, and is within 6 months of each other, essentially marking an X over the planet, over San Antonio. And if my theory is correct and there is a way to turn this lead back into gold, then X marks the spot. And here's the pot of gold. And it's a rainbow bridge. And it's a prophecy. It's all these things. But I want to... And you know, the thing is, like, how do I turn that lead into gold? Or how do we turn that lead into gold? And where does it lay? I need to do some digging, right? Maybe some literal digging, but I want to find out the details on this lead thing, right? And I have maybe this is part of the process, just because, you know, how I've been led to all of this is just by following my gut. And I've been following my gut lately on what I have discovered and I guess put together as part of my mission is to herald in the harmonic convergence of 2027. So for those familiar with the harmonic convergence of 1987 and what I've discussed with every 40 years, there's a point that gets hit for humanity, and we have another one coming up in 2027, and it connects us with a solar eclipse path of totality that goes over Luxor, Temple of Hathor, which connects to other parts of my story and my journey. So it makes a lot of sense. And there's nobody picking it up, as I've noticed so far. And it looks like I will be heralding in the harmonic convergence of 2027. And if you're not already signed up for the newsletter, please stay in touch with us so you can see all the different things that we're doing, because we may come to a city near you in the near future. We have some events planned. We are, you know, always adapting our business model and strategy to go with the times. And what we're seeing coming up is, you know, Infinite You is producing holistic events that volunteers, people that get to put gardens in schools and help with these holistic initiatives, actually get rewarded in a really, really cool way that has their heart sing and has their body dancing and, you know, engulfed in sound waves that are for their healing. And, you know, quantum technology is available for them to try out and experience. And it looks like that's kind of where we're being directed to host an event for the harmonic convergence in Egypt, and creating an app to guide people to volunteer and accrue log hours that will knock the price of coming to the event down essentially to free if you put in enough hours. And we're working out all the details on how many, where, when, how, all that stuff's being worked out as we speak. And the crew is being created and built, and all these amazing people with specialties that I could have never in 100 lifetimes been able to accomplish have come to join the mission. So it's super exciting times to be here in this shift, in this point within the ascension process, and to herald in this new era, this you know, alchemical process. The more that I discover myself as the herald and an alchemy, what do they call him? Not a wizard. What is it? I don't know. An alchemist. So as the alchemist learns how to turn lead into gold, or turn their dreams into reality, thus the correlation between both happen. So I guess for me, the more, you know, and I'm just laying this out right now, I'm just speculating, I'm just throwing out some ideas, and this whole thing is an experiment. So just throwing that out there right now. This is a whole experiment. I could be completely wrong with everything. And, you know, hey, it is what it is. You can run your checks and balances on everything that I've discussed and that I've talked about and that I've experienced. And then you tell me what you think. I would love to have someone that is way more knowledgeable in all these different things, in the esoteric and the biblical, and come and just ask me questions and let me tell them the story of how this is all transpired and why I believe what I believe, and why I've been guided to these things. So we have a mission, and it's coming through an app and our event production. So the app guides you to the organizations that will happily take your sweat equity in exchange for, a monetary discount until essentially zero money, only sweat equity has been put in to come and experience, whether it's storytelling of everything that I've discussed, but with music and art and experiential quantum healing technology and ancient technology, all engulfed, incorporated in a one or multiple day event called the Infinite You Journey. And so we have a few dates that we have selected that are solidified, a couple actually. So the 28th of April, we'll be doing something here in San Antonio, Texas, at the Cove, with Lisa, the owner of the Cove, and bringing a sound bath and a release of the app to the world on how they can volunteer and log their hours and knock their price down. And then, of course, we have the Mayan Day at a Time celebration every July 25th of every year, forevermore. If you are ever wanting to set aside a vacation to the seventh tone, a cosmic city, a city that may have lead that will once be turned into gold again, and experience a day out of time, a day where art and community and love and bliss and cosmic harmony is not just afoot, but is the baseline frequency in which the organization Infinite You operates on, in order to create that harmonic field within the center of you to connect with the rest of yourself. And however that transpires is up to you. So we curate, facilitate, and guide you towards doing the work that is so desperately needed here, to be seen by others, to inspire others to also do the work. And then we play, we dance, we heal, we cry, we sing, we drum, we harmonize, we resonate, we send out a wave, a ripple, a collective experience in the seventh largest city in the nation every year for the Mayan Day at a Time. We are planning another event. This will be the first time that we venture outside of San Antonio. Actually, this will be the first event that we put together that will be part of the Infinite You Journey event series. That will be a thank you to the volunteers. And so we're going around saying thank you with an experience, and we're uniting the volunteers to say thanks and to dance and play together. And so it's such this is way different than I ever thought my life was going to be. I did always want to have fun. Right, there's always an element of excitement and I don't know. I guess just excitement and some level of like harmony and some level of, being able to give back. I often go back to the beginning of my, when you start thinking of, hey, what kind of person am I going to be, or not what kind of, I never really thought what kind of person I'm going to be, because I am who I am. I was never trying to be anything else. It was more, what kind of experiences do I want to create for myself? And a lot of them were just about me, right? And this is all before I had any children. And now, since I've had, Sadie, then Autumn, then Violet Ray, and my bonus boys, you really think of long-term type experiences and ways to kind of set yourself up for success. It wouldn't be a good idea to head down the road of polluting our waterways and piling trash on top of trash and not thinking of ways to, upcycle, recycle, less of a footprint first and foremost. And all those things that, wouldn't have anything left at the end if we didn't secure ourselves as a human being and for our children and future generations. And so that's my life. I'm looking forward to a degree of cosmic evolution and something that I'm not even, before I'm, decide to leave, I don't think I'm going to be bound by this, territory, this place, whether we call it planet Earth or, whatever it is, or dimension or quantum field or whatever. I don't feel I will be suffering a physical death in the traditional way that humans have been experiencing death. I think it's going to be a choice, and it's going to be, something more, oh, look at him, he just balled into a piece of light, and he's, or some, I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe I put my body in stasis, and I go off somewhere else, and I don't know what that part looks like, and that's part of, that's the excitement, to not necessarily know all of that, and to know that it's a remembering, that it's, it should be like riding a bike. And that's what I feel will happen with this experience. Much of how we create and co-create will be like riding a bike, and we'll slip into a very comfortable groove. And it shouldn't be so hard. And it's going to take us paying attention to each other, honoring each other's stories, where we're at that time, and not holding our, anybody to what they've been, and allow them to evolve and see them in their highest light, but also take note of where that person is expressing themselves at that time, so they can be seen, which will calm down their energy body. It'll help you or the person that's witnessing someone be in an incoherent state, if that's what's happening. This is a reflection game. I'm ready to fulfill my destiny, and there's so many other small anecdotal stories and sets of information that have come to me that validate, this lead and gold and Philosopher stone and cosmic city and X marks the spot and all these crazy things. It really does start to make sense. And that's why I just had to make this podcast. I had to post this. I had to talk about, America, or not America, because we did that already. America is getting her Philosopher's Stone. That episode we have. But this is, what would it be? The San Antonio, the lost city, the lost golden city. What is that called? The city of the lost gold, the golden lost city. I forget. I'll look it up. I'll make sure that the title sounds cool. You're listening this all the way through. Please share this. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed. When I get interaction in these places, it helps me to want to do them more. When I don't get interaction, I say, see you later. Like, why am I going to talk to the wall? Because I do feel like sometimes I'm talking to a wall, even though I know one day all of this will be listened to by millions, if not billions, and it will be transcribed. It'll be put on paper, papyrus, or etched in stone. This is the information that guides us to unity consciousness, to our next evolutionary state as we take the notes of human design, prophecy, and slip in and walk right into the age of the sleeping phoenix, and allow the old world to dissolve, burn away. The alchemical process is a heating up process, and it is a friction process, and there is what do you call it? Slag. That's stuff that goes to the top whenever you're melting metals, and you have to pull it away. That is going to be left over, and that will happen, and we just gotta let it go. Don't hold on to the old world so much. It is shifting. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't hold on to the old world and bring in the new at the same time. The money system, the education system, financial, business, water, sewer, electricity, all that stuff's going to maneuver itself into harmonic balance with Mother Earth, Father Sky, our higher selves. It's you've got to let go, and the people around you that are having a hard time with that, hold space for them. Don't be upset with them. A lot of people are freaking out at the letting go process, and that may be what's causing some of the anxiety and stresses that some of us are feeling internally and don't know where it's coming from. And, parts of us are like, it's the world. And you're like, nah, I'm going to be the world. It's the world. There is a large collective of people that are having a difficult time of letting go of this world that is dissolving right before their eyes. And they're holding on to things that they said they don't want. And that's incoherency to the being. That's not synergistic, that's not harmonic, and so that is causing an energetic spike that causes people to do weird things. Like, I can't even describe what things people would do. They just start doing weird things. They're way out of pocket. They're not in their center. Sometimes they're not even in their body. And so, be mindful. This is a grand show, and you're in it. And so with that, I hope you had fun on this ride. We want y'all to love always, in always. And until the next time, peace.
It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. If I commit to make a shift, will you commit to give your gift? If we be the change that we want to see, the shift comes down to you and me. It's the birth of a new way on planet